which is what he wanted of him.
If you know the backstory behind Tombstone, it's a very interesting story that it's amazing that you finally got it out because there's a lot of challenges and there's a lot of legend kind of behind Stone. The director, and at one point it was kind of rumored that Kurt was almost like a director behind the scenes. How much of that actually is legend and hype, and how much of it's actually true? Because it's hard to tell now,
It's all true. Kurt. Okay. Really, what happened was that Kevin wrote a brilliant script. It's about 135 pages, just brilliant. And every actor in town, wanted to be in it. And it had an incredible cast. I mean, just everybody in that movie, it's just. And so, what happened was that Kevin was very, very strong-minded and very, very rigid about his movie. And he wanted it to look a certain way. He wanted the mustaches to be a certain way. He wanted the horses' saddles to be a certain way. He wanted performances to be a certain way. And he was very, very rigid. And it was his way or the highway. And working with Kurt Russell, myself, Sam Elliott, Paxton, all these guys who had done all these movies before, and it's a collaborative art. It's a collaborative art. You don't just show up and have somebody tell you what to do, or, my way or the highway. You just don't do that. And he could not stop himself. He had a vision and he had an idea, and he told everybody exactly what he wanted. This was my interpretation. I loved Kevin. I thought he was great, but he wanted it a certain way. He wanted it shot like an old-fashioned, award-winning cinematographer on the movie that he didn't listen to. He wouldn't listen to anybody about anything. He was going to make his movie. And it might have turned out to be a brilliant movie, but it's a collaborative art form. And none of us showed up there to do what he said. Every line, every wardrobe, how it was shot, what the horses looked like, what the saddles looked like. I mean, so when he was let go, we had been shooting for 4 weeks. We had a 12-week shoot. And Jim Jacks and and Kurt Russell, Val maybe a little bit too, got together and they decided, okay, it's a 135-page, script. What are we going to have to cut out of this script, to finish it up in 8 weeks? Maybe still use some of the footage that Kevin shot. And, I credit Jim Jacks and Kurt. When they brought in George Cosmatos, rest his soul, George was known for his, visual style. He'd done, Cobra, Leviathan, and he was great visually, where Kevin wanted to shoot it, kind of like an old-fashioned Western. He brought in cranes and he shot it beautiful. So what happened is you got this brilliant script, you got these brilliant actors who can interpret that script and really don't need any direction, And then you have George Cosmatos, who didn't have a fucking idea at all about what the story was about and who the characters were, but he knew how to shoot it, And then they cut about, they cut about 20 pages out of it, which was painful for all of us. Stuff, and but everybody hung in there. But Kurt was not directing the movie, and but he was responsible for him and Jim Jacks. I feel were responsible for them for Disney not pulling the plug on the movie.
Not totally. From my perspective, started, Kevin basically said, well, I'm directing this movie. No matter who buys this movie, I'm directing this movie, and I'll go with